Hey everybody, this is Tell the Truth Sports Radio. I'm going to tell you the truth about the world of sports. I'm going to break down the world of college football. How great a game was Oregon and Washington. I couldn't wait to watch it. I was looking for this game all week. It did not disappoint me. I thought it was first. Washington came out and they had a chip on their shoulder because everybody talking about all those close games they're playing. Oregon looks more dominant. Oregon's going to pay them back. Oregon should have won in Washington, which they should have. But they came out, took a 23 lead. I'm like, oh man, Oregon better come to play. Big big set of plays toward the end of the first half when Bo Nix passed to Terrence Ferguson with a good game. It's 20-10, and Oregon gets the ball back. I'm like, okay, this could be a game if they score. In the second half, they did. They came right down the field and scored. Fourth down, I thought they should have kicked the field goal to cut to 7. They went for it. And this time, Bo Nix converted with Ferguson again, 20-17. Now, both quarterbacks do bad picks, so they're going back and forth. But this time, Oregon gets the ball back, and Jordan James rushes for a 6-yard touchdown. And all the momentum going toward the fourth quarter is in old Mo is in Oregon's favor. Oh, okay, Oregon's going to win this game. They're going to be in the college playoffs. The fourth quarter came, and Dylan Johnson really took over. Penix had a couple of plays, but Dylan Johnson just ran the ball down Oregon's throat on this drive, and then he ends up scoring a big touchdown for them. And that was huge. They take the lead. It was a controversial pass where they thought that Penix fumbled the ball. His arm went forward. That could have been a fumble. It was close, but they ruled it incomplete, allowed them to finish the drive. They take the lead. They stop Oregon, and they come right back down the field with an 82-yard drive all the way down. And Penix at the Penix, it looked like they got too cute instead of running Johnson, but they were still able to have a nice play to Quentin Moore for a touchdown or up 10, 2:44 left. I said, okay, I don't know. They got 3 timeouts left. I don't know if Oregon's going to come back. Oregon came storming back, 2 plays. To Sean Holden, 63-yard touchdown pass where he's running past the defenders. They took bad angles. He's able to stand back. That was a great play. Oh, man, Oregon, this could be the comeback of the year. So the onside kick, I wasn't crazy about that. Washington gets the ball, but listen, you stop them, you win. But Dylan Johnson was not going to be denied. He ended up running the clock out with a big 8 on 3rd and 9. On 2nd and 17, he gets 8. And I gotta have it 3rd and 9. He gets them 17. That's bad. That's a bad look for Oregon because you're lined up playing against the run. You still couldn't stop them, and they end up running the clock out and winning. And Penix was really good. I got him about missing plays. He missed a touchdown pass that could have got them up 17-0, but he was solid. I mean, 27 of 39, 141 passer rating, 319 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He was solid. I wonder if Dylan Johnson really was the hero. It's a mixture. Penix was 2, 1A, and Dylan was 1 as far as the hero. 28 rushes, 152 yards, and with an injured ankle, I believe, and it didn't matter. He's just a tough. He might be the toughest football player in college football right now. And Odunze did what he had to do. McMillan was great. McMillan was he was better than Odunze. Jalen McMillan was balling, man. So they got a great contribution. Their defense came flying out in the first half. They played physical. Oregon was physical, but Washington was just as physical. That's going to bode well going against the Georgias and Alabamas and Michigans of the world going forward. Now, I do believe Michigan's going to take care of business against Iowa. I love me some Nick Saban, but I don't think Alabama's going to beat Georgia. Georgia, Kirby Smart's never beat Nick Saban. Even in they won the national championship, they got smoked in the SEC tournament game. They blew a couple SEC games against Alabama. They're due. He's never beat them. I think they're due. I love Milroe, but in this instance, I think Georgia's defense is a little too much for him. Beck makes enough plays, and you have the second best player in college football, Brock Bowers. You got a chance. I love McClellan or Alabama and Burton, but it's not like Brock Bowers. I don't know if Edwards is going to be able to run against Alabama. I think it's going to be a game where it's a turnover here, turnover there. Beck and Milroe's stats are the same 21-6 on Milroe and 22-6 for Beck. He almost has 4,000 yards pass. He's a good quarterback. And Milroe has developed. After the Texas game, I said Milroe stinks. He went from stinks to okay to really being able to throw the long ball well to poise to pretty good. Now, I don't know if that's good enough to beat Georgia. I don't think it is. He's really developing. I think Alabama comes back next year and takes care of Georgia and wins the SEC, which will be hard. I think they're a year away. Georgia wins. I'm riding Michigan to take this thing, man. Now, beating Washington's going to be hard. Whether it's Georgia or Michigan, Washington's going to be a handful. If Penix is going to be accurate and Johnson's going to run that, I don't know if he's going to run against Georgia like that. But Washington opened my eyes. I thought all the way through this week that Oregon was going to win. I loved Washington, but I just thought Oregon was going to pay him back. But man, Washington's a player in this tournament. Now, if Alabama wins, I go Alabama, Texas, Washington, Michigan. If Texas loses, I put Georgia in. If Georgia wins, I go Georgia, Washington, Michigan, and Texas. But if Texas loses, see, Oregon has 2 losses, so it does open the door for Ohio State. But I do believe Texas will win, Georgia will win, Michigan will win, and Washington will win. And there's going to be your 4 right there. Hey, then I want to talk about in the NFL report, I want to talk about the Cowboys and the Seahawks. Seahawks, whew, I thought it'd be kind of a gentleman's beatdown. Dallas beats them by like 17 points. Dallas came out and they were up 17-7. All right. Now this looks more like the game I thought it would be. After DJ Metcalf who had 3 touchdown catches, after he scored a touchdown, they took the lead, but then Dallas came back and took a 17-7 lead. Then Geno Smith caught fire a little bit and drove this team down for 2 scores to get a 21-20 lead with 7 seconds at the end of the half with momentum and the ball. Oh, hold on a minute. I know that Seattle's not going to beat Dallas as bad as Dallas needs this game, and that you don't want to lose to have Seattle catch up to you if you're going to be the wild card and you drop down, end up playing the Niners instead of an easy first round game like the Falcons and or New Orleans, whoever wins that division. But Cowboys, then Seattle comes right back, scores 28-20, and they're rolling. The problem was, this is why I knew Dallas was going to win. Dallas never punted. They didn't punt the entire game. So I'm figuring they're going to keep scoring. I don't think Geno and Seattle could keep up and go toe for toe, because eventually Dallas is going to overtake them. And once they're even, they're leaving. And Dallas scored, and they don't go for the 2 to tie. Okay, we're down. We'll take the field goal. We're down 1 because we're going to keep scoring. And then the fourth quarter comes, and Geno throws a 3-yard touchdown pass to DJ Metcalf. What a nice drive. I'm thinking, wait a minute. All right, I still believe Dallas will still win because the fact that they still haven't stopped them. And they didn't because the Cowboys came back down and kicked the field goal after a bad interception by Geno Smith. And then Dallas gets the ball back and takes the lead. Jake Ferguson, 12-yard pass, where Adams didn't even see. He's covered Ferguson. He lost sight of the ball, and Ferguson catches an easy touchdown pass. I said, well, that's game. And they were able to run the clock out after they kick a field goal. Dallas is efficient. They've beaten bad teams, but it allowed them to get a rhythm. And this is a good team they beat. And I felt like at the time the Chargers were good. They're a mess now. They're going to get a new coach. But I'm not going to be critical of that fact. I just like that they're efficient. Pollard's running pretty good in between the tackles. And Cooks is scoring touchdowns. Cede Lamb is open every down. Cede Lamb had 12 receptions for under 16 yards. He's averaging 10 yards a catch. So he's a first down machine. And what happens is McCarthy has got him in motion. So they're having him in the slot. They're having him on the right side, the left side, all over the place. And no one has adjusted at all. So every time Dak Prescott goes back to pass, Cede Lamb is always open. Ferguson's open. And Prescott's hard. He's not the runner he used to be, but Prescott is a hard man to bring down. And I think that's going to help Dallas. Of course, their defense is solid, but now they gave up. Bland got burned because Bland took chances. Because Bland, he'll get the pick six, but he took some chances and Metcalf burned him. But if Diggs was playing, I'd probably pick them to win the whole thing. They still could, but that would really get them over the hump. But they're playing good in the secondary. They stopped a big 4th and 1, which I wouldn't have ran the play that Seattle ran. That wasn't a smart play. The Charbonneau. I had a run read option on down 3, 4th and a yard and a half. You're not getting that against the Cowboys. You got to know who you're playing. That's a read option. Geno run, find somebody, or run for the first down, or short pass. So that's what's I think is fascinating. But the Cowboys, they got to hope that the Niners beat the Eagles, and they beat the Eagles the following week, which I do believe. And then you could get home field, but you have to root for the Ravens to beat the 49ers. The 49ers have a schedule where they're going to win most of their games, if all of them. So you probably best case scenario is a 2 seed because you lost to them. But the Cowboys, the problem with the Cowboys, I don't think they're going to beat Miami and Buffalo back to back in the heat of Miami and in Buffalo. In the cold in Buffalo the following week. That's going to be a little tough. But the best case scenario for the Cowboys, I know this just sounds crazy, is lose to the Eagles and go back to Philly after losing twice to the Eagles and going back to Philly and knowing that it's very difficult to beat a team 3 times. You're going to have all the pressure in the world. All the pressure in the world is going to be on the Eagles. But if the Cowboys win at home against the Eagles, do not win the division, have to go back to Philadelphia to try to beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia, that's tough. But you know what? As long as there's no adjustments to what's happening with Cede Lamb, they're going to continue to just play this great level of offense, and their defense is very good. Parsons was just it's one Mississippi, and he's in your backfield. That's just how it is right now. So, but I think like a Steve Wilkes, the defensive coordinator of the Niners, if they play the Niners again, I think the Cowboys are going to have to come up with a plan. If they want to go where they got to go and win playoff games, they're going to have to come up with a plan B. I think you're going to have a team that's going to make an adjustment and double or if not triple Cede Lamb. because that's how unstoppable he's been. And D.F. Ferguson and didn't have to man up, which makes that's what makes a great player great is when you give opportunities for others like Cooks. Cooks going to have one-on-one opportunities, and that's going to be big. I don't think the Eagles a third time or the 49ers the second time is just going to let Cede Lamb go bonkers and just be open because he's going in motion every time. I think that Mike McCarthy and staff eventually, for them to win, have to have a plan B. And Parsons has got to get in to the quarterback. He has not played well against the Niners. He's got to play well against Niners and Eagles because he's their leader. Eagles, 49ers, the big game. 49ers have talked a lot of stuff saying, listen, our quarterbacks got hurt. We were playing with one hand tied behind our back. I can't give the Eagles that credit. But it happened. Things happened, and they did. I wouldn't have just took credit away. And it was just a lot of going back and forth by the Eagles and the Niners. Eagles haven't played their best. The Niners are humming. So everybody's picking the Niners. Eagles are a home underdog with one loss. They have one loss this year, and just think about that. They are 10-1, and they're home underdog by 3 points. And the Niners I think some people pick the Niners to just whoop the Eagles. The way the Eagles playing, but the Eagles have played some tough competition, and they figured out a way to win. I think the Eagles are gonna. We could go matchup for matchup and how they're gonna stop Debo and who's gonna play better between Purdy and Hurts. I think the Eagles are gonna come out and play their best game. They know what's at stake. They don't want to go to San Francisco because the Niners, other than the Ravens at home, have an easy schedule, and the Eagles have to play the Cowboys. Then they got to go to Seattle. If the Eagles win, I think they're in good shape because they have the tiebreaker over the Cowboys and the Niners. So they could afford a slip up, even 2 slip ups, because you got the Cardinals and the Giants twice at the end of the year. So that's the one advantage they have, but they have to win. I do believe they are going to win. My head is telling me the Niners are going to win because the Niners aren't deep, but from top to bottom, their starting lineup on offense and defense is better than everybody's. But they don't have the depth, but they're healthy now. I think it's going to go down to the wire. I'm going to correct something. Mike Shanahan is 0-36 when trailing by 8, not when trailing in the fourth quarter, when trailing by 8 in the fourth quarter, which is not great. I'm surprised. Guy like that. But they won't be trailing by 8. I think it's going to be a back and forth game, maybe even overtime or last second kick by Jake Elliott's going to win it. I just think that Hurts is going to make enough plays. Swift will do what he has to do. The offensive line will hold up. There'll be some hiccups with Young and Bosa getting after, but I think the Eagle defense is going to put enough pressure on Purdy and do a decent job on McCaffrey. I think they're zone focused on this game. I could be wrong because if their secondary it's been with Slay and Blankenship and Bradbury, they're talented. They have not played well at all. They've been gashed. They've been gashed on the run. I just think Fletcher Cox plays as their run stopper. I just feel like they're going to be so zone focused that you're going to get the best Eagle game you could possibly get. I'm going on a hunch. I'm not going on stats and what Brock Purdy could do. He's got almost 3,000 yards passing and 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and McCaffrey's going almost 1,000 yards rushing. I'm just going by a hunch, and I just believe the Eagles are going to win this. I want to make one more point before I go to the AFC. How does the 49ers, can they stop the tush push? Psychologically, if that ever gets stopped, what would that do to the Eagles? And is it always 2nd and 9 every time they play, like Sinceri says? And can the 49ers stop Brown and Smith? And that's what I realized. Ward and they're without Tufunga, And if they don't get home and Hurts has been money and he's clutch in the fourth quarter, can they make him unclutch? That's going to be man, what a great game. This is a great weekend of sports. All right. Like and subscribe because I got guests. I had Stephen Baker, touchdown maker. I'm going to have old school, new school NFL players. I'm going to try to bring it. Okay. The AFC pitcher, if Pittsburgh, which I'm a still fan. I don't even when they're playing home against the Cardinals, I barely trust them. But if they take care of business and they're actually fortunate enough to win the two games, and then maybe win against Seattle, beats New England, if they beat New England the following week, and then Cincinnati in the at home coming up, and get to 10 wins, they might make it. I don't see them winning in Seattle. They're definitely not going to win in Baltimore. So I think their best bet is to get to 10 because Indianapolis is playing a lot better. Indianapolis, Houston, Jacksonville is just, they show how good a division that is. Jonathan Taylor's going to be out for a while, which stinks. I'm going to try to get him on my show. Denver's on fire. Denver, Houston is an elimination game. And it's Houston. You should favor, I want to favor Houston, but I got this feeling that Russell Wilson and Sean Payton going to dial it up and figure out a way to go on the road and win. And Houston's going to continue this role. And I believe Buffalo, they got a rough schedule. I like how Buffalo, they could find they kind of played so good that they can really, this could springboard. Say, for instance, they lose to Kansas City. If they beat Dallas at home, they beat the Chargers on the road, they beat New England, have 9 wins. And if the Miami game doesn't mean anything to Miami, they can get to 10 wins and they'll get in. And it could be Kansas City. If they don't beat Kansas City, if they take care of business the rest of the way, they're going to get in. I just like how efficient they are. I like how they're running the ball with Murray and Cook. And Allen's not making that too many dumb mistakes. I just think that Buffalo and Denver are going to get in. I don't think Cleveland's going to make it. I'm not sure about Indianapolis. Pittsburgh is very fortunate to have an easy schedule. But if they lose either game this week or Thursday, they won't make it. There's no way to win in Seattle or Baltimore. So they have to. These are must-to wins. And then they have to win with a Burrow-less Cincinnati just to think they're going to make the playoffs. Any other way, they're not making it because Denver and Buffalo and Houston has a tiebreaker over them. They'll make it. So and Kansas City, the fact that they got Rice involved, that's the receiver they go to help Kelsey out. And then, you can mix and match with Tony if Watson can catch the ball, but Tony's a great kick returner out of the backfield, and Pacheco runs hard. And Hilaire, I want to see Hilaire more. That really gives them the balance that they will need to make a Super Bowl run because I love their defense. And now their offense, I believe they're going to find themselves. Baltimore's going to lose against San Francisco. I think Baltimore's going to lose another game or two, and they're going to be the 2 seed. Jacksonville will be the 3 seed. But we shall see. We shall see. They got Jacksonville. They have Jacksonville coming up. Baltimore, Jacksonville will be for the 2 seed. But then Miami. If Miami takes care of business, they have the tiebreaker. They're 6-2 in their conference. I think they could be the 2 seed. And Baltimore could be the 4 seed. Jacksonville's going to be a 3 seed. That's what I believe. I think because that they lost to Kansas City, they're going to end up with the same record. And maybe, just maybe, of course, I would love Pittsburgh in a fantasy world to go to the Super Bowl and do all that crazy stuff. They're not good enough yet. So in the real world, if I don't have that choice, in my world, I want to see Kansas City at home versus the Miami Dolphins for the AFC Championship game, with the Cheetah coming back to Kansas City to go against his former team for rights to go to the Super Bowl. How good would that be?